Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of questionable parentage, it is your homeboy Captain Retro, and guess what I'm doing? I'm working on a pinball machine, which is what I kind of do all the time. Gonna make this video. It's gonna be one that I figure I should share with people, you know what I mean? I'm trying to restore this game, and I fucking kind of fucked it up, and now I gotta fix it. So this is a Captain Fantastic, another Captain Fantastic that I got that I'm eventually gonna be doing a lot more cleaning to and painting, but we got issues with the back wall. I'll put some pictures up. I'll run a little storyline time about what's going on here. Got a lot of paint to fix. That's all gonna get cleaned, obviously. But the problem today, and why we're making this video, as you can see, this is not good. This is a back wall that I replaced. I took measurements. I thought I did it right. I built the whole thing. I puttied. I did my building. I put it together. And then I found out that my areas down here where the leg bolts go in are not, where they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be on the crease. The front of the cabinet is right on the seam of these two pieces of wood, and the hole goes through the middle, and that's where the legs go. And the one on this side was a little better. It ain't perfect still, but it would have held the leg a little bit better. It's closer to the edge. These cuts in this wood are the original pieces of wall. This wall was fine. The back wall was wrecked and coming out and was basically missing from here over to like the side walls. This very small area where I made these original holes was where it was on this piece of wood. This piece of wood, however, was rotted pretty bad and pretty gross. I did a lot of sanding. I did a lot of wood filler and Bondo, and I am now ripping all that apart and going to rebuild this again. If you can see here, this is the original top piece for the, where the neck goes. And this was also broken off when I got it. I had rebuilt it together. The pieces are in there. I had it up. I'll put some pictures of what I had put together up. When I got over here starting to put legs on, I painted it. I went crazy. When I started putting legs on, they would not go in straight, and the leg would have been wonky and silly and sitting off to the side and made the cabinet tip. And that's just not Captain Retro work, you know what I mean? Like, that's not good enough. So what I'm gonna do is basically from this seam that's cut here, I might come over a little further, but I'm gonna cut this whole, I'm gonna rip this off with a hammer real quick, take this board apart. I do want to try and save this piece of wood, but I'm basically gonna rebuild the whole back of this cabinet from like here, from here over. So I've got to take some measurements still, and I got my buzz saw ready, and we're just gonna cut the back of this box off and rebuild a back of a box and stick it back on and do it the proper way, where I have a 90-degree seam on each edge here, and I can put legs in the right way. So we're gonna lose some artwork down at the bottom that I will have to redo. I think I can tape it over and just keep my lines going. I don't think I need new stencils for all that. I want to save the original cabinet as much as possible. Floor in it was pretty rough in that corner. As you can see, you can still see through the floor down there. This piece of wood is a great piece of wood that I found, and I cut the right dimensions and I had it all right, but my putty work and the board being that thick, I actually made two boards. It's like an insert piece on this piece. There's two pieces put together here. It never got as flush as it needed to be, and it never was going to be a 90-degree angle from what I had done. And I didn't realize I definitely had to have that 90-degree angle. I mean, I guess I kind of knew, but I thought maybe I could get by with doing this side, because this side looks so good. I was like, this side will work itself out. It didn't. It didn't work itself out, and the other thing I could do is tear apart the flip-flop that I've got back here that's the same body and same game shape, and use its cabinet for Captain Fantastic, and find a new cabinet for the flip. But go through all that work for still not using the original. This is the original stamped cabinet. So I'm gonna save this thing, and I'm gonna do a better job at saving it than what I did the first time, and we're gonna clean it up and make it all new again, and wish me luck, basically, is what I'm saying, because this is probably a lot more work than I should do. I should probably buy a whole new cabinet for $400, $500, have somebody build me a brand new cabinet. But by God, everything else in this thing is fine and ready to be put back into the world. And that's what I do around here. So we're going to do it, and I'll show you what I've done. So that worked. This was some bracing I had put inside. My measurements were off, but now I've got a really nice flat 90 degrees to work with here, and I can get a thinner piece of wood. I've got multiple pieces of wood to choose from to build another 90-degree back wall on this thing, and then from the 90 degree that it makes, cut my leg bolt holes and maybe still use this original. I'm sure I can get this off of here, but this is the back wall I took off, and this is what I had made as a plug cap for the back wall originally, and it just never was square and right. It was a little too long. And this is a much better cut on this piece. We got a little bit into the screw holder here for the head bolt, but not bad. This one less so. I might have jigged when I jagged. It might not be perfectly flat, but it's a lot better than it was, and I think work from here. And I probably should have done this to begin with to get rid of a lot of this rotten wood and crap. And these are, you know, a bunch of nails that I put in here. But there's still a little bit of wood rot in this area up here. But that's nice, back to nice good wood, especially over here. Very nice over here. So I'll cut this off and we'll square this sumbitch up correctly. And it might be, you know, just a tad shorter than an original cabinet would have been, but it'll at least be able to put legs on it correctly and solve these issues that I've had. Yeah, I think this will work. All right, let's get this off of here. If I can save my paint job, I'd like to save as much of my paint job as I could. You know what I mean? That's money. The stencils cost money. I can touch everything up back here and solve it, and you'll never even care about the back end of it unless the freaking legs aren't on it correctly, which is the whole problem to begin with. So now we can solve it, and I want to build a nicer neck than I built the first time. The back wall I used for the neck originally was pretty janktastic. It's not perfectly straight. It was gonna work just fine. It held the neck. I put the whole head up there and held everything together. And this was sturdy until the leg wouldn't go on. And then I was like, no, I gotta take this apart. So that's when I started banging it with a hammer, and I caused that whole seam. I was trying to take out these wood inserts. I thought maybe I could rebuild that shim correctly and come in at a different angle on it. And that's what you get for thinking. So what I've done is a better thing to have done. And now we will solve this logically and correctly and quickly. All right, so I've got a little bit of primer I slapped on there. I wanted to see high spots, low spots, stuff like that, and do one more sand pass on it. But we've got a new back door. We got the holes cut in the correct spots to put legs on. This wood is the side wood of this. It's a little bit thin, and I might slap a little bit more Bondo on there to solve it, but I'm pretty sure I can save it. Also, I have to finish this. We're gonna put a piece of wood on this last row here. This cabinet is maybe, I don't know, how much shorter is that? 1/4 of an inch? Roughly 1/4 of an inch shorter than the normal size the cab would have been, the length of it. The leg needs to be right at the 90-degree angle to go on properly, so I might have to do a little bit more shimming of this hole, but the bolt now goes through. I've got proper bracing built inside with the exit holes, and then they're going to get these, when I get the right exact spot, put on there. And this is going to end up being a brace for the floor against the back wall. And then I can clean the rest of this cabinet out, because oh my god, it looks like a mess. And call it a day on this thing, I think. I don't have to do any artwork here. I do have to fix the little rainbows that go off to the corners there, basically. And then it can get a nice cabinet protector like the front corner does. And it'll be just a hair shorter than a regular, a regular pinball machine body cabinet would have been. However much length that is, the tip of my finger. So we're going to shim that off. And we're just going to build a piece of wood right in the middle. I was able to save the screw holes for the head. Hope fingers crossed that it goes back together. I'm also going to putty this up, sand it down. We're going to fix this front piece of this wood here too. But yeah, that's where we're at. And from a distance, you tell me there's something wrong with it. I felt like, saving this cabinet was the top priority of my existence for the last 2 days, basically, of messing with it here and there when I can. And I think I'm gonna be able to pull it off. He might have gotten a little bit of a kneecapping, but he's fine, and he'll play some pinball again. All right, so here's what I've done. We've got ourselves a piece for the back wall quarter there to hold the neck up. Paint to do, and a little bit more speckling, and then refixing the rainbow blue and red here that are hiding just behind here. I don't want to pull that off, but that's a big thick piece of tape going down and covering all that stuff up. And yeah, I think I think we're gonna be fine. I think it's gonna work just beautifully, and if you know, you know, and if you don't, you won't, and we can get this back together. Now there's a couple things I need to fix over here. So what I wanted to do is I attempted to make it a nice cool gold Bally to match the gold flake, and there's some spots of things I need to fix up. This gold I put back, the backing gold I used, I went a bit crazy with my square size. I didn't really measure anything. I just kind of freeballed it, and that's what I free Bally get. But I kind of like it. So maybe what I'll do is tape this off, get it back to white here, and leave it as kind of like a, you know, like a line, a humpy little curvy line that goes into that. And this side I'll get rid of. And then the other side is almost the same, but this doesn't actually happen. This happens, but this didn't really happen as hardcore. It's like right along the edge. So maybe I'll tape it off and paint it back in, and then both sides will be gold right there, just to be gold, you know. And I think it'll match, and it'll be a custom job. And yeah, that's what we're doing now. Something else I wanted to show you guys. I picked up this Mortal Kombat 2. Actually, it's a multicade. And I've had this in the storage locker for quite some time. It was painted black on the sides with a stupid sticker with these two little Pac-Man guys on it, and it said multi-pack, and it looked terrible. I used some citrus stripper to get some of the paint off, and I saw that the Mortal Kombat art was still on here, which is amazing. The problem was, though, that someone had sanded it before they painted it black. So this side came out 1,000 times better than the other side did, but I kind of like it. I don't care. I'm making me a Mortal Kombat 2 right now. And I've got another one over there in the corner that is all my donor parts, basically, because the cabinet is nowhere near as nice as this one. And this art is really rough on this side, but that could be the side against a wall. I mean, all you need is some new vinyl. That's not the problem. I just kind of like the way it looks. You know, it looks like it's been through it. It almost looks like graffiti, you know, like fading graffiti. That control panel, this works. It's a multicade with a bunch of games built into it, and a flat screen and a PC. And but the cabinet is really super solid. And this cabinet over here has a lot of water damage at the bottom. I've got a brand new Wells Gardner monitor in that box. I've got working board set. I've got all the controls I need. Here's the correct control panel in really good shape. And this side art is not terrible on this one, but the bottom of the cabinet is pretty rough. My thought was to swap it all over to that one. Hell, I might just leave that one alone as a multicade and make this one, you know, do the woodwork at the bottom of this one and get the new art and put it on this one. Either way, there's going to be a Mortal Kombat 2 built here eventually. This Miss Pac-Man has a speed chip in it and works really good, and it just got sold tonight. The Asteroids Deluxe needs the monitor, still has to be fixed. I haven't really gotten to it. Flip-flop is in really good shape, and another reason I didn't want to tear it apart and lose the magic numbers cab between these two things to make my Captain Fantastic. This is a Solar City, and it is the 2-player version of Target Alpha, and I got this for free from a buddy of mine from high school. It was down in his dad's basement for years, and it's got a lot of, I think they might have had termites or wood bugs or something, but it's got a lot of really bad flaking and like crunching areas of wood that there's like these little white, looks like fucking wood termite farts or something, like a bunch of little pellets. When I get around to making that video, I'll get around to making that. But the artwork is really kind of neat. It's this, you know, universe scene, and if I can save this cabinet, we'll find out. But the playfield is really nice. The backglass is super nice, and it is complete. Someone put at some point this panel on the bottom of it, probably to save from termite damage or something going on with it, but we'll get to it when we get to it. The Phoenix that's here, and this is a Lost World. These are customers. I rebuilt all the drop targets and put brand new drop targets throughout this game, brand new pop bumpers, except for the top cap. But the bodies and the bumpers are brand new. The drop targets are working, but they're not resetting properly every time, and they're kind of doing their own thing. And the easiest solve for that is obviously to clean it and gap it properly. But he's going to be putting these out in the world, and they're going to be making money for him. And there is a brand new fix that replaces the original 2 little target. Each target has 2 little like horseshoe switches on it, and they rub across this plate, and that's what makes the contact and tells it it's up or down and what to score. And it's kind of a hard-ass system to keep going. They're known for failure. So anyway, the guys built this new kind of thing for them, new boards, and they're on their way. This is a G07 monitor I got to rebuild for a customer. This had all kind of issues. He had brand new boards, but it needs all kind of connectors rebuilt, and there's a couple I'm still doing on that. It's in the middle of it right now. Also got new pop bumpers, but when this game is up and running, it plays like a champion. And here's my Vector that is for sale, but I put a big price tag on it. I'm basically asking double what it's worth right now because I don't want to sell it. I kind of want to hold on to it and play it for a while, and that's what's going on. The Touch Tunes jukebox that's on a pedestal speaker system. This ATM is part of the company I work for, and it needs to go back out in the world and start making some money. And then there's a Star Wars over here that I hadn't shown you. My Star Wars pinball, Data East. This belongs to Trackside Tavern in Atlanta, and I'm going to be going through it and shopping it out completely for the guy when I get a chance here. It's been in the building now for a good solid week and a half, and I haven't had a chance to touch it yet. I'm too busy with my own shit. And then there's a pile of machines down in the storage locker I got that we haven't even gotten to. It's just been busy around here for CaptNRetro. I do appreciate everybody watching the channel and sticking around, and you know, hey, it's been a while. I'm thinking about revamping the channel completely. I'm so busy with Tara's Never Seen. I kind